Hello, everyone. My name is Sarabi. I'm a silver consultant, and today we're going to be talking about understanding your target market. Okay, I've been seeing a lot of questions about this in the chats on developing a niche. What my audience is, what my target is. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit. Okay. So for today's agenda, after this meeting, you would have discovered who your current audience is and who your ideal client is. You will have developed a niche for your business, develop your target market, or discover who your target market is. I'm sorry. And then also you would have had, we're going to be creating a strategy plan for your target market today. So that is what, the goal of this workshop is going to be today. By the end of these 4 different things, we're going to hopefully, have at least developed a little bit and worked on. So we have a better idea of how we're going to market ourselves for our business. Now, starting off, who's watching you, right? You kind of want to have an idea of who's watching your page. Now, it doesn't have to be like a creepy type of thing, but knowing what your audience is and the demographics are is really going to help you in the kind of content that you're making for your page. Because if you're just making things for everybody, I mean, that's cool, but you kind of want to center it so that way you know who exactly you're marketing to, and then it's not one of those open things and you're just hoping to catch a fly pretty much. So study your analytics. If you have a business page on any kind of social media platform, then you have an analytics page. So you want to make sure you're studying that. You need to know the demographics of who's on there versus, how often they're on there, or, who's engaging with your posts, ages, countries, locations, different things like that. Study your analytics so that way you can have a good idea of what you should be posting and who you should be posting to, and how you can gather, kind of get the interest from those that aren't currently in your audience. Now, why is this important? Knowing who your current audience is will give you the starting point of how you market yourself. So we're just going to watch a quick video here, knowing the difference in terminology of target market versus target audience. I am going to pause the recording really quick so that way, with YouTube and everything, it's not going to get flag me. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure you guys can see the video. So we're just going to play it in here. All right. So basically, like how they send a video, knowing the difference between who you're marketing to and who your audience is really going to help you kind of figure out, what it is, the demographics of the people that not only are engaging in your content and, eventually turning into leads, but also, where you're going to be posting that as well. How do you this full screen. Whoopsie, did not mean to do that. My apologies. All right, so who are my ideal clients? How do I know how to market to them? Well, we're gonna go ahead and do a quick little brainstorming activity here. If you want this worksheet, I can definitely send it out, but basically what we're going to be doing is discovering who our target market is, who our ideal clients are, and in doing so, we're also going to be developing our niche, because you kind of have to know what you like, what you want to, who you want to market to, but you kind of have to know what you're actually marketing to really determine like who your target audience is going to be for this. So this is a very, very simple worksheet. Again, this is like a brainstorming activity. So, when you're going through this, you have to start at the broad level, the macro, and then we work our way into the micro to kind of really figure out and come up with a plan on what we're going to be doing here. So understanding who your ideal clients are will help you focus your content to that specific market. What do your ideal clients look like? How do they like to travel? So this doesn't necessarily mean like what appearance they have. This is basically what I mean here is like, how are they traveling? What are they doing? What do they like to, like, how is their style pretty much? So for example, I'm gonna put a couple on here. Let me make this a bullet point type of thing. So my ideal clients, I'm speaking for me personally, are bougie. They like to spend money. They like nice things, 4-star, 5-star, right? They like that, fancy living type of thing. So, private transfers, they don't want to be, with the general population. I mean, this is just it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. This is just what I envision, like, my ideal clients to look like. Okay. This doesn't mean that like looking down on anybody, or if somebody like wants to do something else. This is just me personally of what my ideal clients look like. Okay. Let's see, they're adventurous, they like to do things, so if they're going out, maybe they're kayaking, or maybe they're doing a zip line, or maybe they're just doing like a little parasailing. I like those that like to go and do stuff and have fun and see the world type of thing. So not saying that other clients that don't want to do that is bad. Again, this is just brainstorming what your ideal client looks like for you. What else? So we have bougie, private transfers, ventures. They like to travel for a long time. So, those 2-week trippers or those 1.5-week trippers, like they like to be gone for a good amount of time to really immerse themselves in their vacation. They travel often, very often. Let's see. Can't really think of, let me change this font, because since this is my activity here, I definitely wanted to personalize it to me. So, I'll just leave it at there, right? And there's no like typical age range. There's no like economic factor to this. This is just, when I think of who my ideal clients are, this is what I think of. Bougie, meaning they like to travel well, nice places. Private transfers, adventurous, travel for a long time and travel often. Now for you, it may look different. Maybe you are more so like the road trippers. You like those people that like to do those RV trips, which is actually something that's really cool. Those are fun. Maybe like your ideal clients are backpackers, right? Maybe your ideal clients are, groups, so it really just depends on what you envision your ideal clients to look like. Jot that down, come up with a couple of different ideas, and then, note how they like to travel. So now that you kind of have a breakdown of what you picture your ideal clients to look like, now you kind of want to work on more so how you can convert your niche to your actual target market. Okay, so starting for that, you actually have to start from within. So I'm just going to copy this real quick so that way I could just get that bullet point factor in there. Now, when you're thinking about this, is what do you love? What is something that you can talk about for hours upon hours upon hours? So for me, I love theme parks. Oh, I could talk about Disneyland all day long. I could tell you where the best shows are. I could tell you where you can find Mad Hatter. I could tell you where Peter Pan goes. I know where Tiana goes. Like, and this isn't just from something that I've trained on. This is just from personal experience from going to Disneyland, the probably like hundreds of times that we went. Okay, so this isn't just from something that I've read or researched. I've actually been to these places. I know, where you can get a Ghirardelli hot fudge brownie sundae. I know where you can get a margarita at Disneyland California Adventures. I know where you can get those really good turkey legs, the parts that make the best ones, because there is one that just, I don't know what they do to it. I'm pretty sure they're all like the same. Maybe it's just a mental thing, but every time I go to a cart, this specific cart, it's always like the best, juiciest like turkey legs ever, right? So that's just something that, from experience that I know of. Now, you could put things that you like on there as well. Don't limit yourself to just travel things. Like if you like food, put that on there. If you could talk about food all day, that's a niche that you can actually develop, because food travel is very much a thing. If you like video games, if you like movies, that's something as well. So, don't feel like you have to limit yourself on this list. So just put things that you love that you can actually talk about. And then from there, we're going to go on to the next step. So I'm going to jot a few things down on there. I could talk about anime all day, specifically Naruto. That's like one of the most like common besides Dragon Ball Z, but there's other animes that I could talk about too. But that's not important. Superheroes, I could talk about, like, because it's easy for me to say Marvel, but there's also DC, because there are some DC heroes that I can actually discuss and talk about. But I'm just gonna be generic here. I'm gonna say fantasy. So like, werewolves and fairies and those mermaids. Like I like to have those conversations. I could say aliens, but that's not necessarily fantasy in my opinion. But that's something that technically I could consider that for. Give me 1 second, guys. Apologies, my daughter was having a moment. Sorry. All right, so that's going to be my list here. So theme parks, cruises, anime, superheroes, fantasy, and then movies is another one. But I'm just going to keep it simple for the sake of this. I'll just put here. Now I want to add that on there because I do love me some movies. All right, so that's going to be my list. So now from here, once you gather the things that you like, now pick one. Now you can do this worksheet for multiple things when you're developing more than one niche, but for the time being, just focus on the one, and then we're going to break that one down all the way up until, creating a marketing strategy for yourself. Okay. So right here, I'm going to pick cruises. Okay. That's simple for right now. So let me talk about cruises a little bit. So now on who participates in this, who is not the audience per se, but what is the demographics for the people that participate in this activity? If you have like backpackers or something on there, what do you envision? Like, what is generally like a backpacker? What do they look like? Are they physically fit? Are they between a certain age bracket, right? So that's something that you want to note down. Now for cruises, I would say 30-year-old to 45. I would say that would be like the main demographic on cruises. This isn't from something that I've researched. This isn't something that I've looked up. This is just from going on a lot of cruises. That was the age range that I've seen the majority of the people on the ship are. Now, that's not saying that there's not other age ranges on the ship. That's just, from what I've seen on the cruises that I've been on, that is the age bracket. Let's see. The ratio to women and men, it wasn't too much of a difference. So I can't really say it's mostly women, because there's men that travel too. So I'm probably not going to put that on there. What else? Who participates in this? I'll just leave it at that. Actually, I'm drawing a blank. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. So, that's what I could think of right now is, 30. That's the only one that I could really think of right now that's actually a statistically significant, demographic for cruise lines. So I'm gonna just make sure I put this on here so I know what I'm talking about on there. All right, so we're just gonna go with that. So 30-year-old to 45-year-old. Okay, that's gonna be my demographic. Now, once you get that figured out, now you want to move on to the next step. Where can you find people who participate in this? So where can I typically find 30-year-olds to 45-year-olds? What is their schedule looking like? Where can I go and see, more, 30 to 45-year-olds? That's kind of how you want to think about this, okay? So let's go and I'm gonna copy this and then we're gonna break it down again. So typically people in this age bracket, they are at work during the week. So I'm gonna say at work. And then, work schedule, probably looking at about, I would say 8 to 5-ish. I mean, 9 to 5, 8 to 5, kind of the same thing. So that's the kind of the work week schedule, and then weekends off. Now, this doesn't apply to every single person. I do understand this. I'm just speaking off of the general, okay? So this is basically, kind of the schedule that I'm working with right now. So when I'm doing my posting, oops, did not mean to do that. I meant to make this bold. Boop, there we go. So, when I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking about the schedule of when I'm going to be posting my content for cruises, then I have to have the schedule in mind, because guess what? When they're at work, they're probably not going to be checking their phone, or going to be working, at least hopefully. They're going to have a lunch break, but that varies between the time, right? So most of the time, you're probably going to have your best chance posting something like that, like a full package when it comes to cruises in the evening time, because one, the day is behind them. It's time to relax. Work is done. The kids are home from school. They're getting ready for dinner. They're getting the kids ready for, bed or whatever. They're relaxed. It's a calming environment. And then they happen to scroll Facebook. Maybe they're getting ready for bed or something like that. And they're scrolling, they come across your cruise package, and that could be something they could talk about with their spouse with. Or if, they're using their phone during dinner time and they just happen to see it, they're like, oh, hey, babe, you want to go on a family vacation on a cruise or something like that? That can be a way where you can utilize their schedule to work in your favor. Now, posting prior to that early in the morning is hit or miss, because you got to think, if they're within this time frame, this age bracket, then chances are they may have kids. Again, this is speaking general. So, getting the kids ready for school, getting them ready for work, getting breakfast ready, like it's a very hectic time in the mornings if you're a parent. So maybe they don't have time to actually scroll and look on Facebook while they're trying to get everything done. So maybe that may not be the best time for you to be posting something like that. Now, you can throw in little travel fillers in there, but probably it's just my personal opinion, like with just cruises in particular, maybe just, saving that for the evening time so they can really go through, see what the packages are, and then, that's where you can find them there. And I'm speaking about, this is specifically like social media. This isn't, in person type of thing. This is specifically for social media window. And again, this is also from, just experience and from, studying social media trends and, really studying my content and, what's working for me. This is all based off of, all that compiled together. Okay. So that's what I found. Now, when it comes to the weekends, this is where that in-person kind of, marketing comes into play. Where do you typically find, 30-year-olds to 45-year-olds? Well, a lot of people in that age, sometimes they like to go shopping. So even if you're in a grocery store, that's somewhere that's fine. You can find all ages at the grocery store, but definitely a lot of people get their grocery shopping done during the weekend. Or when they go, to stores like Macy's or JCPenney's. a lot of those department stores, you never know. There's a lot of people that are in that age bracket that actually, shop there as well too. So, you can strike up a casual conversation. You're going in there looking at some Steve Madden shoes or something you're like, and you compliment somebody on their bag, or you compliment them on their pants or their shoes or their hair. That type of thing. That's another thing. Hair stores, or not hair stores, but like hair salons, nail salons. A lot of people, because they work during the week, they schedule their hair care and their nail care for the weekend. So, you can go in there, visit, maybe even get your hair and nails done, and, strike up a conversation with somebody. So, like, you can easily call up the nail salon and be like, how long is the wait? If it's a long wait time, that means there's a lot of people there, and you can definitely go in, talk to people while they're waiting to get their nails done. And that can be a way of you marketing yourself. Now, again, this is very generalized, right? Even though we're targeting for 30-year-olds to 45-year-olds, don't limit yourself to just that age bracket just because that's your target market. I mean, if you want to expand, you can talk to anybody really, but we're just speaking specifically for discovering like what your actual market is and what's going to be a little bit more helpful to you when it comes to like what kind of content you're making and how you're going to do it. All right, so I'm gonna actually add that on there because I thought that was a really good idea. Weekends at the nail salon, hair shops. Because I know once I come off of this, I will forget my examples. So, okay. Oh, and department stores, I said. You guys know I like to do my Canva stuff. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna take this one off because I can remember that it's cruises. I have that there, so I'm just gonna pull this up. There we go. All right. Now we're gonna break it down yet again, right? Start at the general, we break it down just a little bit, then we break it down a little bit more, and now we're going to the next level. Okay, so now we're gonna break it down to this. How can I engage with people who participate in this? So how can I get engaged with 30-year-olds to 45-year-olds, right? Well, typically with that age bracket, phone calls. I'm not saying that, they don't text or anything, but generally that's more of like that phone call era pretty much. Cause that's what was going on, when they were a little bit younger too. So, that's kind of that age bracket. That's how you can get a hold of people. So, doing phone calls, emails. Email marketing is a very big thing. People still, check their emails and do things, maybe not so much like the younger generation, but definitely, people, I would say 26 and up, definitely, still email marketing, check their emails and use that to their advantage. Let's see, I won't say like text is hit or miss because texting is easy, it's not that hard, but you'll get more of a closing rate when you actually get on the phone with people versus just texting them or just doing everything like electronically. Like people like to talk to you and know that you're a real person, that you're not spammy, because of how the world is now. It's in your best interest. Now, if you're dealing with a client that's in city as well, why not take them to coffee, go to Panera, have a business meeting and do this in person? Because one, they get to meet you, you get to explain everything, you have everything set in stone. You can definitely ask them, engage their conversation, where it's not like you're cold calling or anything, or you're trying to get a hold of somebody and they're not picking up. You're actually speaking to a real life person. And two, your lunch becomes a tax write-off because you're conducting business. So, it's a kind of win-win type of situation. So we are going to go ahead and put on here. And this is just speaking for the age bracket that I'm working with, okay? It's going to look different for you guys as well, because depending on what you like, depending on what your niche is, it's going to depend on who you're marketing to. I'm just speaking strictly for what I'm doing here. So what did I say? Oh, I said phone calls. See, Forgot that fast, y'all. Phone calls, email, marketing, in-person meetings. And then I feel like I said one more. I didn't say video calls. That's more of like the 18 to 25. I mean, it could be for anybody, but not really. They're more likely to get on the phone. I think that was all I said. Phone calls, email marketing, in-person meetings. Okay, that's how I can engage. Now, when it comes to social media, you kind of also want to pay attention to the types of posting. So not necessarily videos per se, but maybe showing a lot of pictures, maybe having text in your actual mock bookings or your postings, something that has like a paragraph type of format, not just like, simple bullet points, right? So, maybe that could be something that you can start incorporating into your mock bookings or into your postings and things like that. So I'm going to also add that on there for social media. Text, having some kind of text for people to read, articles, people love a good article, magazines, things like that. Collateral, when you're using your collateral, get those nice little brochures that, they can actually flip through and look through, right? Something like a magazine, because I know one thing, my aunt, she still follows, those tabloids and what's it called? It's one of those celebrity magazines or something like that. And she still has a subscription to that. And she, adheres to that faithfully. So, that could be something that you can utilize, take advantage of. A lot of our vendors have those like thick little booklets. Might as well have them look at something for travel versus some, celebrity news, right? That's not going to help anybody. All right, now we got what our niche is, because that's something that you love. That's something you could talk about. You could develop that. Excuse me. We got our demographics for the audience of that specific niche. We have where we can find them, the typical schedule for the people in that demographic, how you can engage with people in that demographic. Now we're going to talk about how that actual market compares to your current audience. So this is where a little bit of research on your part has to take place. Now, if you have a business page on any social media platform, you have access to your analytics. So I'm going to just go on Meta Business Suite real fast. This is a whole training in itself. I'm not going to go into it too deep, but here under insights, it has your audience here. Tells you everything, your demographics here. And what I'm looking for right now is basically just my demographic section here. So looking at my age brackets right now, I have more people that are in my age bracket right now. And then I have a couple in, the age brackets that I'm marketing to. Same kind of deal with Instagram. So it's really good. I like how the suite gives you both Facebook and Instagram. But if you're looking across the board on all of your social media sites, then it would be good practice to kind of go in, look into it, and then, kind of compare it all in a general sense to compile it all together. Now, is that going to take time? Yes, but it's going to help you in the long run. So that way you're not just throwing things out there and just hoping that you're going to catch something. Because if you're not intentional with your work, then it's just going to be all for naughts pretty much. So this pretty much tells me that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I have mostly women on my page. I have to work on the guys. So that's perfectly fine. I have to get more engagements there. With Instagram, I'm doing a little better. It's a little bit more even, but with Facebook, I have some work. So I'm comparing what my target market is right now to what my current audience is. So now I know who I'm capturing, who's watching me, but I also know what I need to do to increase, the outside as well. Where was I? I was on this one. There we go. So you don't necessarily have to write anything on here. If you want to kind of jot down notes and, where you're at, and then periodically going through this worksheet so you can see, the target areas that you need, that can be an option for you. So I'll probably make a note, let's say, increase men demographic on Facebook, something like that. Like you could use it to like keep notes on what you can work on and where you're at the current moment. Now, we know what we need to do. We know where we're at. Now it's time to start coming up with some marketing strategies that you're going to implement to really grow your business, right? So now we already know who our target market is. We know who our current audience is. Now we can really figure out what we need to do to really increase that and from here to here. So what's a simple marketing strategy that I can implement to increase the men demographic? Okay. So for example, when it comes in relation to cruises, maybe I can post more activities, right? So, maybe post more activities. Norwegian has a go-kart on their actual ship. So maybe I can post some videos from that, right? Because, people like go-karts. Post go-kart videos on or from Norwegian. And I'm just jotting down some examples, but when you're thinking of these marketing strategies, you want to be specific. It can't be general, like post more mock bookings. Yeah, that's obvious. You want to post more mock bookings, but what are you going to be posting your mock bookings about? If you're an all-inclusive specialist, are you going to be posting about Mexico or Jamaica? Or are you going to be doing Dominican Republic or Aruba or something like that, right? So you want to be very intentional when you're coming up with these marketing strategies. So I'm gonna just leave these on there just for example purposes. Come up with a couple of strategies. I would say make like a solid 4 or 5 plans. So that way, if one doesn't work, then you have other options that you can try for. So at least you'll have a whole month's worth of content, or not a whole month's, but at least a month's worth of different strategies that you can utilize. Like you could try one way for 1 week, one way for another week, another way for the other week type of thing. All right, so now that we have our worksheet completed, it's just time for some, key takeaways. You already got it down now. You have an idea of where you're going. You have an idea of what you're developing for your niche. You have an idea of what your audience is, your market is. So now it's time to be intentional. When you're coming through, you're making your posts, you're doing all of your social media stuff, just be intentional with it. Know what you're doing and know what it is you're trying to gain from it. Be consistent, because again, those people in the target market, they're going to be watching you. Sometimes people watch you for a while before they really, sink in, let it sink in. So, be consistent with it. If you're going to have multiple niches, then make sure you're posting about every single one of the niches. Don't give one more love than the other. If you're going to say you're an expert in all this stuff, then be an expert in all that stuff, because there's going to be different audiences and different markets for that stuff. And if they go on there and see, oh, they say they're a cruise specialist and a theme park specialist, but all I see is cruises, they're gonna, stop watching at that point. So that's why you want to kind of start with one. Once you master that, then incorporate another. But I get it. I was just that way too. I was trying to go on with a whole bunch of different things that I liked, and I had to really hone in on like one at a time. So right now I'm at my 4th one, but it was a journey to get there. I had to really master the other 3 before I even incorporated into the 4th one. So just be consistent with it. If it's something that you like, post about it. If it's something that, is relation to it, just be consistent with it. Okay. And then above all, guys, just enjoy yourself. This is your business. This is a travel business. This is fun. Enjoy yourself. Have fun with it. You're talking about things that you love. So share that passion with everybody. It's going to translate to your clients. I promise you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful, to really tackle what you want to do. Go be great, right? Go be great because you are great. All right. Again, if this video was helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button at the bottom, like it, comment, let me know if there's some other things you want to see, or you want to learn more about, target marketing and target audience, let me know and we can do another training about it. Until then, ciao.